Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Stay informed with Newssource Crawler's edition from May 12, 2025, which provides a comprehensive daily news digest. YouTube Music Charts, Global Top Songs from May 2 to May 8, 2025, feature the following hits. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, APT by Rose and Bruno Mars, Paso Bame Solto, Slowed, by ATLXS, and El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and Jair Torres. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, May 2 to Thursday, May 8, 2025, includes the following tracks. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Ordinary by Alex Warren, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. Steam's Most Popular Games, featuring the leading games in sales and player engagement on Steam. Based on the revenue rankings of the top 100 products for the period from Tuesday, April 29, 2025, to Tuesday, May 6, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, Schedule 1, REPO. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA has become more vigilant about less advanced cyber actors focusing on industrial control systems, ICS, and supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, systems within the critical infrastructure sectors of the United States, particularly in the oil and natural gas industries, as well as in the energy and transportation sectors. One more drop in the ocean of AI. ACE STEP v1-3.5b by ACE STEP is a groundbreaking open-source foundation model designed for music generation, addressing significant shortcomings in current methods through a comprehensive architectural approach. It combines diffusion-based generation with Sanaw's Deep Compression Autoencoder, DCAE, and a lightweight linear transformer, resulting in exceptional performance in terms of generation speed, musical coherence, and controllability. This model operates 15 times faster than LLM-based baselines, producing a 4-minute piece of music in just 20 seconds on an A100 GPU. It demonstrates superior musical coherence across melody, harmony, and rhythm, supports full song generation, allows for duration control, and can interpret natural language descriptions. The establishment of a new office in Phuket for Vanuatu's Golden Visa program highlights the potential risks associated with selling citizenship. The UK is set to implement stricter rules for skilled worker visas, requiring applicants to possess degrees as part of a broader immigration reform. The Taliban has temporarily banned chess due to concerns about it being linked to gambling. France and Poland have committed to defending each other under a newly signed cooperation agreement. In a display of military strength, Putin organized a parade in Moscow featuring 11,000 troops, 200 tanks, and the presence of 28 foreign leaders, which was described as aggressive. China has welcomed a group of 100 military officers from Africa to enhance their defense partnerships. The UK government has announced that beef treated with hormones will not be allowed into the country following a trade agreement with the US. British aircraft components have been granted an exemption from tariffs imposed by President Trump as the trade deal between the two nations continues to develop. The Swiss president expressed disappointment with the tariff discussions with the US and expressed optimism that the upcoming meeting between the US and China will yield more positive results. In other news, China is focusing on cracking down on smugglers to enhance its export regulations on essential minerals. India has accused Pakistan of deploying as many as 400 drones to launch attacks on various cities and military bases. In a related development, Donald Trump announced that India and Pakistan have reached an agreement for a complete and immediate ceasefire. This announcement comes after the Indian Premier League, IPL, was indefinitely suspended due to the ongoing military conflict between the two nations. Despite the ceasefire agreement, reports of violations have emerged. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has released $1 billion to Pakistan and has approved a new program worth $1.4 billion. Trump advocates for an additional 20,000 officers to assist in deportation initiatives. The mayor of Newark is released following his arrest at a protest at an immigration facility, claiming, "I committed no wrongdoing." The U.S. Department of Education initiates an investigation into foreign funding at the University of Pennsylvania after finding erroneous and delayed financial disclosures from foreign sources. Ukraine and Hungary have each expelled 2 diplomats amid a dispute over espionage. Reuters indicates that the United States is considering granting Greenland special status as its interest in the island grows. Bangladesh has prohibited the Awami League, the political party of the former prime minister, under terrorism legislation. OpenAI is planning to modify its partnership with Microsoft by decreasing the revenue share. Apple is potentially set to introduce a new iPhone model in 2027, featuring a design that is predominantly glass and curved. Coinbase had contemplated adopting Michael Saylor's strategy for purchasing Bitcoin but ultimately chose not to proceed. Following this decision, Coinbase announced the launch of 24/7 futures trading for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, just one day after revealing its significant acquisition of Deribit. The Federal Trade Commission has postponed the implementation of the click-to-cancel rule for subscription services by a period of 60 days. According to a recent survey, approximately 25% of consumers in the United States are currently using buy now, pay later options to finance their grocery purchases, as economic challenges continue to intensify. The Prime Minister of Australia has declared that his government's top priority is to alleviate student debt. Trump is set to meet with Gulf leaders during his visit to Saudi Arabia, and the Trump administration is reportedly considering accepting a luxurious palace in the sky as a gift from Qatar, according to sources. Boeing has announced plans to deliver the new Air Force One jets by 2027, which would be before Trump's term ends. However, Qatar has dismissed reports of the potential jet gift to Trump as inaccurate. Pope Leo XIV has cited artificial intelligence as one of the influences behind his choice of papal name, indicating that he intends to closely adhere to the teachings of Pope Francis. He also acknowledges that AI poses a significant challenge for humanity. Donald Trump has dismissed the head of the Copyright Office just 2 days after a report suggested that using AI for training might not qualify as fair use. In response to criticism over its terms of service update, SoundCloud has stated that it has never utilized artist content to train its AI models, despite previous reports indicating a change in its AI policy to allow training on users' audio. Young people in Georgia are gradually abandoning their traditional Southern accent, which is part of a broader national trend of changing regional accents. Chimpanzees employ certain language elements to communicate with one another, and they exhibit a consistent rhythm when they drum on tree trunks, an ancient method of communication. The upcoming sequel to Godzilla x Kong has been titled Supernova and has started production with a planned release in 2027. The remains of soldiers V. Feldman, who had been missing for 43 years, have been retrieved from Syria by the Mossad and the IDF. A representative of Trump has confirmed that Hamas has consented to release the final surviving American hostage held in Gaza. A report indicates that a notorious Nazi war criminal played a role in establishing a major drug cartel and collaborated with Pablo Escobar. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Donald Trump made a public promise to swiftly conclude 2 ongoing wars. However, in private conversations, he has expressed feelings of frustration regarding this matter. European leaders have indicated that Trump committed to imposing sanctions on Russia unless a ceasefire is reached. Vladimir Putin has suggested initiating direct peace negotiations with Ukraine, marking the first such proposal after 3 years of conflict. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has informed Putin that Turkey is prepared to host these potential Russia-Ukraine peace talks. In response, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has insisted on a ceasefire being established before he will consider agreeing to Putin's request for direct discussions. The USDA and DOJ are requesting that states provide personal information regarding food stamp recipients. Trump has announced his intention to mandate that the U.S. pay only the same prices as other countries for certain medications. Trump plans to establish a national center for homeless veterans using funds that were previously allocated for housing illegal immigrants, with an executive order proposing to house homeless veterans at a VA center in West LA. Trump suggests that the Wall Street Journal should appoint the editor from the New York Post due to its critical reporting. Mexico has filed a lawsuit against Google for altering the name of the Gulf of Mexico for users in the United States. It has been reported that a Trump envoy used a Kremlin interpreter during discussions with Putin aimed at resolving the conflict in Ukraine. Kids born in the year 2020 are expected to encounter an unparalleled level of exposure to severe climate conditions. In Somalia, a tragic incident occurred where at least 7 individuals lost their lives due to heavy rainfall that caused the drainage system to fail. Scientists from the European Union have raised concerns about the worsening spring drought situation. The United States and China have reached an agreement to reduce tariffs by 115% over a 90-day cooling-off period. Thailand is preparing for a temporary halt in investments due to the ongoing uncertainty surrounding U.S. tariffs. CNN has reported that no ships from China are currently heading to California's major ports, a situation not observed since the pandemic. Poland accuses Russian intelligence of orchestrating an arson attack on a Warsaw shopping center last year and has subsequently ordered the closure of the Russian consulate in Krakow, attributing the decision to the arson incident linked to Moscow. The NATO chief, as reported by the Dutch Prime Minister, is advocating for member countries to increase their defense spending to reach 5% of their GDP by the year 2032. A study by the People's Liberation Army in China indicates that the country, which is set to have over 100 nuclear reactors, could face the risk of some of these reactors being targeted during wartime. CATL's $5.3 billion initial public offering in Hong Kong has successfully bucked the trend, marking the largest stock sale in the city since 2021. Bloomberg highlights that the tech industry is cautioning that U.S. investment commitments are contingent on the continuation of a research tax credit. TNR reports that manufacturers are expressing that former President Trump's policies have rendered it nearly impossible to establish factories in the United States. Furthermore, Bloomberg notes that Europe's gig economy is increasingly being dominated by U.S.-owned companies. Malicious NPM packages have compromised over 3,200 users of the Cursor application by installing a backdoor and stealing their credentials. A software engineer working for Doge had their computer infiltrated by malware designed to steal information. Furthermore, a North Korean operative attempted to secure employment at a well-known cryptocurrency company but was caught off guard by a straightforward question related to Halloween. Research indicates that individuals with a history of violence tend to interpret faces that are unclear or ambiguous as expressing anger. It has been found that professions such as teaching and librarianship are associated with a lower risk of suicide. Furthermore, a study proposes that engaging in meditation over an extended period might help alleviate stress and slow down the aging process. Coffee shops are reportedly removing Wi-Fi and laptops in an effort to reduce the number of people working remotely from their premises. In a separate incident, Pearson, a major company in the textbook and testing industry, has been targeted by a cyber attack, resulting in the leakage of customer data. Nintendo has announced that it reserves the right to render its consoles unusable, or brick them, if they are used in an unauthorized manner, as part of its strategy to combat piracy. The Food and Drug Administration has given its approval to the first ever at-home test that serves as an alternative to the traditional pap smear. In a groundbreaking development, a new PTSD treatment has been introduced that involves stimulating a nerve located in the neck, resulting in the complete eradication of symptoms. Physicists have achieved a remarkable feat by transforming lead into gold, albeit for an extremely brief duration, as observed by the ALICE experiment at the Large Hadron Collider. In the United Kingdom, an artificial intelligence model has been developed using anonymized data collected from 57 million individuals. Insurance companies have introduced policies to provide financial protection against damages resulting from errors made by AI chatbots. A study has revealed that requesting brief responses from chatbots can lead to an increase in the occurrence of hallucinations. New Scientist discusses the increasing severity of AI hallucinations, indicating that they are becoming a persistent issue. Klarna has decided to slow down its AI-driven job reductions by advocating for the continued employment of human workers. A study proposes that the use of AI can negatively impact one's professional reputation. Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Stay informed with NewsSourceCrawler's edition from May 9, 2025, which provides a comprehensive daily news digest. Top songs on YouTube music charts, Global edition from April 25 to May 1, 2025. 1. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars 3. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and Gior Torres 4. Paso Bame Solto, Slowed by ATLXS. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, April 18 to Thursday, April 24, 2025, includes the following tracks. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Ordinary by Alex Warren, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. Discover the most popular games on Steam. This list highlights the top-selling and most played games worldwide. Based on the revenue rankings from the top 100 products, here are the standout titles for the week from Tuesday, April 22, 2025, to Tuesday, April 29, 2025. The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, Counter-Strike 2, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Schedule 1, and Last Epoch. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA issues recommendations regarding credential vulnerabilities linked to a possible compromise of older Oracle cloud systems. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Qwen 3-235BA22B represents the newest iteration in the Qwen series of large language models, providing a robust array of both dense and mixture of experts, MO, models. Developed through rigorous training, Qwen 3 achieves remarkable progress in areas such as reasoning, adherence to instructions, agent functionalities, and multilingual proficiency. It boasts several notable features: the ability to effortlessly switch between different thinking modes, a substantial improvement in reasoning skills, enhanced alignment with human preferences, specialized expertise in agent tasks, and support for over 100 languages and dialects, demonstrating strong capabilities in multilingual instruction following and translation. Pakistan asserts that Chinese-manufactured J-10C fighter jets were deployed against India's Air Force. Reports indicate that China is celebrating the J-10C fighters' alleged success over India's Rafale jets during the recent India-Pakistan conflict, praising the PL-15 missile. India claims it targeted Pakistan's radar during the clash, with speculation that the radar system was of Chinese origin. China has expressed its steadfast support for Pakistan amid escalating regional tensions with India. Both China and the United States are observing the unfolding India-Pakistan crisis from the sidelines. Disney and Miral have revealed their intentions to develop a new Disney theme park located in Abu Dhabi. Napoleon's personal saber is set to be put up for auction at Drought. Nintendo anticipates selling 15 million Switch 2 consoles as it prepares for the upcoming launch. Following the shooting of a man in Arizona, an AI-generated video featuring him was presented in court, speaking directly to his assailant. A chaotic video captures an AI job recruiter completely losing control during an interview. In the United States, it is now mandatory to present real IDs at all airports nationwide for domestic flights. Netflix has introduced a new and improved homepage and app, featuring a search tool powered by OpenAI. The Hollywood Reporter notes that creators are establishing their own expansive studio systems as Hollywood reduces its operations. Bloomberg reveals that the podcast industry is significantly larger than previously thought. Nigerian filmmakers are turning to YouTube as streaming companies withdraw their support. The first group of Afrikaners to receive refugee status is set to arrive in the United States. In a related development, a U.S. judge has ruled that President Trump's plan to send migrants to Libya would contravene a court order, leading to the blocking of a deportation flight carrying Asian migrants to Libya. Libyan leaders have stated that they have not consented to accept migrants deported from the United States. Furthermore, a federal judge has mandated that the Trump administration promptly resettle 12,000 migrants. Apple is shifting its focus towards AI-driven search capabilities, marking the conclusion of an era dominated by Google. Anthropic has introduced the Claude Web Search API, placing its bets on the future of information access beyond Google's influence. Google has committed to financing the creation of 3 new nuclear power sites. Apple is in the process of creating specialized chips for its upcoming glasses, new Mac models, and AI servers. The company is considering changes to its iPhone release schedule and introducing new designs. Eddie Q, an Apple executive, has suggested that artificial intelligence might eventually replace the iPhone within the next decade. Meta is resuming its efforts in facial recognition technology, as concerns about privacy have diminished. Huawei has introduced its first laptop that operates on its self-developed Harmony OS, following the expiration of its Windows license. A recent study has discovered that individuals who naturally require only a short amount of sleep possess a specific genetic mutation. Another study indicates that the lifespan of mammals is correlated with both the size of their brains and the effectiveness of their immune systems. Data reveals that the incidence of dementia in China is rising at a rate that exceeds the global average. Syria's al-Shura has acknowledged engaging in indirect negotiations with Israel while tensions continue to rise. In Paris, Shura expressed a commitment to gradually easing sanctions but emphasized the importance of safeguarding minority groups. France's President Macron is advocating for the European Union to lift sanctions on Syria. In Germany, the new chancellor has advised U.S. officials to refrain from interfering in German political matters. There is an agreement between Merz and Trump on the necessity of addressing trade disputes, and the German intelligence agency has temporarily halted the classification of the AfD as a right-wing extremist group while awaiting an appeal. Turkey's highest court has affirmed a contentious law that permits the culling of stray dogs. In Brazil, there is a significant increase in scorpion stings, with reports showing a 250% rise as these arachnids appear to be taking over urban areas. South Africa's premier national park has witnessed a tragic event, with over 100 vultures succumbing to mass poisoning. In the United States, the Justice Department has revealed the outcomes of Operation Restore Justice, an FBI-led nationwide initiative that resulted in the arrest of 205 individuals involved in child sex abuse. Among these arrests, 5 occurred in the Eastern District of Michigan, and 115 children were successfully rescued. Additionally, federal officials have criticized a new law in Washington state that mandates clergy to report child abuse, labeling it as anti-Catholic. The Catholic Church has responded by pledging to excommunicate any priests who adhere to this law. Meanwhile, conservatives have leveled accusations against Prevost, suggesting he concealed abuse cases in both Peru and the United States prior to the conclave. Mitsubishi Motors has entered into a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with a division of Foxconn to delegate the development of its electric vehicle, EV, models. Huayu is considering taking over the role of South Korea's LG, which has decided to withdraw from an $8.45 billion investment in an EV battery project in Indonesia. TechCrunch has reported that Tesla's application for the robotaxi trademark has been denied due to its overly generic nature. White smoke emerges from the Sistine Chapel, indicating the election of a new pope. American Cardinal Robert Prevost has been chosen and assumes the name Leo XIV. There have been remarks suggesting that while Francis was selected to rescue the Church, Leo XIV is tasked with saving the world. In his inaugural Mass as pontiff, Pope Leo XIV encourages cardinals to adopt a humble demeanor. A New Orleans genealogist claims that Pope Leo XIV has Creole ancestry. In the United States, Republicans are planning to cover the costs of Trump's tax cuts by selling public lands, as a committee has given the green light to this proposal to finance a significant bill. The USDA chief has stated that the agency is working on filling important positions after paying 15,000 employees to leave. Bill Gates has announced that his foundation will shut down by 2045 and has criticized Elon Musk for reducing USAID funding, expressing that Musk is harming the world's poorest children, while Gates intends to donate $200 billion by 2045. Donald Trump has declared a new trade agreement with the United Kingdom and hinted at a potential conversation with Xi Jinping regarding China. The UK's digital tax on major technology companies remains unaffected by this trade deal. The Bank of England has reduced interest rates to 4.25%, with the governor expressing approval of the news about the US tariff agreement. CNBC has remarked that Trump's agreement with the UK clearly indicates that 10% tariffs will continue. China has reported that the United States has requested a trade meeting to be held in Switzerland. In April, China's exports experienced an unexpected increase of 8%, even as new tariffs imposed by the United States came into effect. Concurrently, in the United States, imports from China have plummeted to a level not seen in 2 decades, as the impact of President Trump's tariffs becomes more pronounced. President Trump has expressed that an 80% tariff on Chinese goods appears appropriate, as discussions are set to commence. Linux has ceased to support 486 and early Pentium processors, a move that comes 2 decades after Microsoft made a similar decision. There are allegations of data manipulations in a study that played a crucial role in the development of Microsoft's quantum chip. Furthermore, Cobalt, a company supported by Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, is considering a lithium project in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. According to Reuters, the United States and Israel are in discussions about the potential establishment of a US-led administration in Gaza, as indicated by sources. It is reported that the Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK, is set to officially disband this week, following what sources describe as historic decisions made at a Kurdish PKK Congress, which were influenced by the jailed leader's call for disarmament. Furthermore, India has conducted airstrikes targeting the alleged headquarters of militant groups located in the central region of Pakistan. The Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, has claimed that Masood Azhar's brother and Jaish leader Abdul Rauf Azza were killed in these airstrikes, which were part of Operation Sindoor. The U.S. Treasury is intensifying its efforts to pressure companies that import Iranian oil by specifically targeting the Hubei Xinhai Chemical Group Company, Limited, known for its teapot refinery, along with 3 port terminal operators located in Shandong, due to their involvement in acquiring Iranian oil. Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin have criticized Donald Trump's Golden Dome initiative, labeling it as an attempt to militarize space. The Pentagon has launched a campaign against what it describes as outdated software procurement practices, opting instead to embrace open-source solutions. Ukraine is contemplating a transition from the dollar to the euro in light of changing geopolitical dynamics. Vance has stated that Russia is demanding excessive concessions in the ongoing negotiations aimed at concluding the conflict with Ukraine. Ukraine has announced the dismantling of a Hungarian espionage network that was engaged in gathering military intelligence. The FDA has declared the successful completion of its initial pilot program utilizing AI for scientific reviews and has set an ambitious timeline for implementing AI across the entire agency. OpenAI and the FDA are in discussions regarding the application of AI in the evaluation of drugs. Reddit is planning to enhance its verification processes to prevent the infiltration of AI bots that mimic human behavior. Furthermore, Stripe has introduced an AI foundation model specifically designed for payments and has announced a more extensive collaboration with NVIDIA. The Wikimedia Foundation has initiated a legal action against the newly enacted UK Online Safety Act, contesting its provisions. The Lockbit ransomware group has been compromised, leading to the revelation of their negotiation tactics with victims. Google has identified a connection between the recently discovered Lost Keys data theft malware and Russian cyber espionage activities. OpenAI has introduced a new GitHub integration for its ChatGPT Deep Research, designed to provide answers to inquiries related to code. Google has implemented AI-driven tools aimed at safeguarding Chrome users from potential scams. Alibaba has developed Zero Search, an AI system capable of autonomously searching the internet, which has resulted in an 88% reduction in training expenses. The Indian government has issued a directive prohibiting Pakistani content amid escalating regional tensions. Bloomberg provides commentary on the growing alliance between Putin and Xi, which is challenging the US-dominated global order. A prosecutor in France has stated that the suspect in a mosque murder case acted without any ideological motivation. A recent investigation has uncovered that advanced Chinese weaponry, supplied by the UAE, has been found in Sudan, violating an arms embargo. Reuters has revealed that during Trump's administration, discussions about Saudi Arabia's civil nuclear program were separated from the issue of recognizing Israel, according to sources. The Telegraph has reported that in the UK, an alleged plot by Iranians targeting the Israeli embassy was an attempt to disrupt Iran-US nuclear negotiations, as UK police successfully thwarted this potential terror plot. Expedia's quarterly revenue fell short of expectations due to sluggish travel demand in the United States, causing its stock to decline. The United Kingdom is set to reveal a $10 billion deal to buy Boeing aircraft, as confirmed by the U.S. Commerce Secretary. Robinhood is preparing to introduce a blockchain platform for trading U.S. assets in Europe. Trump plans to halt funding for a digital equity law initiated by Biden, labeling it as racist and illegal. The Trump administration has also decided to discontinue a database that has been monitoring the financial impact of extreme weather events since 1980. The DEA, which previously praised body cameras for promoting enhanced transparency, is now moving away from using them. Coinbase announces that its acquisition of Deribit for $2.9 billion is expected to boost profits, despite a decline in income during the first quarter. Individuals who invested in Trump-related cryptocurrencies have experienced significant losses, and Bloomberg indicates that the top purchasers of these coins are likely from foreign countries, as data suggests. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, OCC, has stated that U.S. banks are permitted to purchase and sell cryptocurrency assets on behalf of their customers. AppFigures reports that Apple generated more than $10 billion in revenue from commissions on the U.S. App Store during the previous year. The World Video Game Hall of Fame has honored Defender, Tamagotchi, GoldenEye 007, and Quake by inducting them into its collection. Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum is scheduled for release before Christmas in 2027. Celsius CEO Alex Mashinsky has been handed a 12-year prison sentence in connection with a multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency fraud case. In a separate legal matter, a judge has dismissed the majority of charges against the celebrity endorsers of FTX. Fortune has reported that Meta is currently in discussions about potentially deploying stablecoins, a move that comes 3 years after the company abandoned its significant cryptocurrency project. Leaders in the field of artificial intelligence are planning to advocate to senators for the acceleration of the permitting process for power supplies and to enhance access to government data. The Internal Revenue Service is reportedly aiming to substitute the enforcement workers who have been terminated with artificial intelligence solutions. There are claims that college students are intentionally incorporating typos into their papers generated by AI. Amazon plans to allocate $4 billion towards enhancing its cloud infrastructure in Chile. OpenAI is set to invest in initiatives aimed at constructing AI infrastructure in international locations. The Trump administration intends to overturn and substitute the Biden administration's restrictions on global AI chip exports. Kennedy has introduced a new database aimed at exploring the fundamental causes of autism, with RFK Jr. stating that this database will incorporate information from Medicare and Medicaid. Trump has selected Casey Means, a conspiracy theorist and wellness influencer who lacks a medical license, to succeed a Fox contributor as the Surgeon General. CNN has reported that a militarized group of conspiracy theorists in the U.S. is convinced that radars are being used as weather weapons and is attempting to dismantle them. NASA is unexpectedly planning to send rockets to Mars in the upcoming year. The Trump administration has decided to halt U.S. research on space pollution, which could be advantageous for Elon Musk. According to a report by The Washington Post, the U.S. is encouraging countries affected by tariffs to give their approval to Musk's Starlink, as revealed by Cables. Research indicates that eggs are less prone to cracking when they are dropped on their sides. In the United States, the CEO of the private prison company GEO Group has stated that their services are more cost-effective compared to those of Sakot. Additionally, shipwrecks discovered off the coast of Costa Rica, initially thought to be pirate vessels from 1710, have been identified as the remains of Danish slave ships. Malware has stolen 1.7 billion passwords, which are now being sold on the dark web. David Beckham and Gary Neville have finalized their takeover of the Salford City Consortium. Russia held a Victory Day parade to mark the 80th anniversary of the victory over Nazi Germany.
Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Stay informed and beyond. Stay informed with NewsSource Scrawlers Edition from May 7th, 2025, which provides a comprehensive daily news digest. Top songs on YouTube Music Charts, Global Edition from April 25th to May 1st, 2025. 1. Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. 3. El Mayor de los Ranas and Bruno Mars. 3. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres. 4. Paso Bame Solto, Slowed, by ATLXS. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, April 18th to Thursday, April 24th, 2025, includes the following tracks. Die With a Smile, by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Ordinary by Alex Warren, Birds of a Feather, by Billie Eilish, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. Discover the most popular games on Steam. This list highlights the top-selling and most-played games worldwide. Based on the revenue rankings from the top 100 products, here are the standout titles for the week from Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, to Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, Counter-Strike 2, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Schedule 1, and Last Epoch. CISA's Cybersecurity Alerts and Advisories. CISA issues recommendations regarding credential vulnerabilities linked to a possible compromise of older Oracle cloud systems. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Qwen 3-235BA22B represents the newest iteration in the Qwen series of large language models, providing a robust array of both dense and mixture of experts, MO, models. Developed through rigorous training, Qwen 3 achieves remarkable progress in areas such as reasoning, adherence to instructions, agent functionalities, and multilingual proficiency. It boasts several notable features: the ability to effortlessly switch between different thinking modes, a substantial improvement in reasoning skills, enhanced alignment with human preferences, specialized expertise in agent tasks, and support for over 100 languages and dialects, demonstrating strong capabilities in multilingual instruction following and translation. In the United Kingdom, there is a proposal to prohibit local councils from displaying flags that are considered politically progressive or woke. In Germany, Friedrich Merz has assumed the role of chancellor following a significant loss in the initial voting round. Cardinal Erdo from Hungary is gaining popularity among conservative circles as a potential candidate for the position of pope. A recent study has discovered that cinnamon could potentially impact the effectiveness of certain prescription medications. Chronic pain sufferers might find relief by acquiring the skill to manage negative emotions. Furthermore, a psychologist suggests that a significant portion of the British population is now identifying as neurodivergent. In the United States, the Department of Homeland Security is planning to provide a financial incentive of $1,000 to migrants who voluntarily return to their home countries. According to a report by The Washington Post, documents reveal that during his administration, Donald Trump's team encouraged Ukraine to accept deportees from the U.S. while the country was engaged in conflict. Members of the Venezuelan opposition have departed from the Argentine diplomatic compound after residing there for more than a year and have now arrived in the United States. The European Union is planning to introduce a proposal to prohibit the importation of Russian gas by the conclusion of the year 2027. In a related development, China has announced its intention to dispatch an honor guard to both Russia and Belarus to commemorate the Victory Day anniversary. Tensions between Russia and Ukraine have escalated as they engage in drone attacks against each other, occurring just prior to Chinese President Xi Jinping's scheduled visit to Moscow. Hamas asserts that there is no value in continuing truce negotiations with Gaza if Israel persists in what it describes as a hunger war. Meanwhile, Israel is reportedly considering occupying and completely destroying Gaza if no agreement is reached before Trump's visit, with an Israeli minister suggesting that Gaza should be completely destroyed and its residents relocated to third countries. Additionally, the Netherlands is advocating for a re-evaluation of the EU-Israel trade agreement due to what it calls the catastrophic blockade of aid to Gaza. The United States has imposed sanctions on a Myanmar warlord and a militia associated with cyber scams. In Peru's northern region, gold mining activities have been halted following the tragic deaths of 13 miners. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, has declared that it lacks jurisdiction in a genocide case brought against the United Arab Emirates, UAE. This development comes a month after Sudan accused the UAE of providing support and complicity in genocide at the World Court. U.S. crude oil prices have reached their lowest point since 2021 following OPEC+'s decision to increase production in June. The European Union is considering imposing tariffs on €100 billion worth of U.S. goods if negotiations do not succeed. China has criticized the United States for the serious negative impact of the tariffs imposed by former President Trump as trade discussions are about to commence. OpenAI has decided to maintain its non-profit structure as the governing body of its business operations, responding to external pressure. Elon Musk's legal representative has stated that a proposed reform for OpenAI would not result in any significant changes. In other news, a recent study by AWS indicates that generative AI is set to surpass cybersecurity as a top priority in technology budgets for 2025. United Health has expanded its use of AI, now implementing it across 1,000 different applications, including in the claims process. Trump refutes claims of sharing an image of himself as the Pope, dismissing criticism. Trump declares Washington, D.C., as the location for the 2027 NFL Draft. Trump intends to reveal that the United States will rename the Persian Gulf as the Arabian Gulf, according to AP sources. Google inadvertently discloses information regarding its upcoming Android design language, known as Material 3 Expressive. Microsoft has officially included Fedora Linux as a supported distribution within its Windows subsystem for Linux, WSL. Cisco has introduced a prototype chip designed for quantum networking. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has instructed a reduction of 20% in the number of top military leadership roles. Former President Trump announced that a truce has been established with the Houthis, who have agreed to cease targeting ships. The Wall Street Journal has reported that the United States has instructed its intelligence agencies to intensify their surveillance activities in Greenland. A recent poll indicates that the majority of Americans rely on federal science information on a weekly basis, as reported by NPR. Trump is considering the elimination of the long-standing Energy Star efficiency program. Europe has committed to investing €500 million to attract scientists, contrasting with Trump's ongoing conflicts with universities. In the United States, authorities have apprehended and charged 764 individuals who were involved in running a worldwide child exploitation operation. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has reported that Instagram's recommendation system has been suggesting connections between individuals known as groomers and minors. Switzerland is taking steps to prohibit the physical punishment of children. Governor Newsom has indicated his openness to collaborating with President Trump on a proposed $7.5 billion federal tax credit aimed at supporting the U.S. entertainment industry. The White House has stated that no definitive decisions have been reached regarding movie tariffs, as they continue to consider all available options. Ford has announced that tariffs are expected to result in a $1.5 billion financial burden for the company by the year 2025. Furthermore, Mattel, the company behind Barbie, has revealed plans to increase product prices due to the impact of Trump's tariffs. Uber has collaborated with China's Pony AI to introduce self-driving taxis in a significant market located in the Middle East. Tesla is advancing its LiDAR-free self-driving technology in China while awaiting approval for its full self-driving (FSD) system from Beijing. Waymo has set a goal to increase the production of its robot Axis at its Arizona facility by doubling the output by the conclusion of 2026. In April, Xbox games dominated the PlayStation Store, occupying the top 3 spots in sales. Minecraft has announced the end of its VR support. In the tech sector, Seagate anticipates a significant increase in hard drive capacity, predicting a tripling by 2030 due to the rising demand for AI. Across the pond, Deliveroo has reached an agreement for a £2.9 billion acquisition by its American competitor, DoorDash. During a meeting in the Oval Office with President Trump, Canadian Prime Minister Carney firmly stated that Canada is not for sale, it won't be for sale, ever. In response, Trump remarked, "Never say never." Bloomberg reported on this encounter, highlighting Carney's attempt to engage Trump through discussions about real estate. Britain and India have reached a £5 billion free trade agreement, which includes provisions for visas and tariffs on products such as cars, textiles, and whiskey. CNN noted that the first vessels transporting Chinese goods, subject to 145% tariffs, have arrived in Los Angeles, but they are only half full, raising concerns about potential shortages. The Trump administration plans to withhold wages from 5.3 million individuals who have defaulted on their student loans this upcoming summer. According to CNBC, the impact of Trump's trade tariffs has expanded to encompass nearly all exports from the United States, as indicated by supply chain data. Purchasing a home in the United States now necessitates an additional $50,000 in annual income compared to renting. India launched military actions against Pakistan in response to the murder of tourists, while Pakistan claims that Indian aircraft were shot down. The International Monetary Fund's April outlook anticipates that India will rise to the position of the 4th largest economy by the year 2025. A recent report indicates that India's film, television, and streaming sectors generated a total revenue of 1.1 trillion Indian rupees during the fiscal year 2024. Denzel Washington and Spike Lee collaborate for the 5th occasion in Apple's chic new crime thriller. Apple TV Plus renews The Studio for a 2nd season. Google introduces a film production project aiming to offer a positive perspective on technology, contrasting with Black Mirror. Sotheby's abruptly stopped a planned auction of Buddha relics in Hong Kong following India's intervention. The New York Times secured 4 Pulitzer Prizes, while The New Yorker received 3. The Washington Post was awarded for its reporting on the Trump shooting incident and its editorial cartoons. The Baltimore Banner earned a Pulitzer Prize for its coverage of the overdose crisis. A ship from the World War II era sank unexpectedly before it could be used as a target in military exercises conducted by the U.S. and the Philippines. Trump minimizes importance of trade talks, asserts control over terms. The United States and China are set to commence official trade discussions in Switzerland following a series of tariff impositions, with Trump administration officials Bessent and Greer scheduled to engage with their Chinese counterparts on matters related to trade and the economy. Analysts suggest that the recent rise in Taiwan's currency serves as a warning shot regarding the potential de-dollarization in Asia. The U.S. commodities regulator is considering withdrawing its appeal regarding Kalshi's election betting offers. Data indicates that 58 cryptocurrency wallets have profited significantly from Trump's meme coin, while 764,000 have incurred losses. Senate Democrats are opposing a crypto bill, partly due to criticism of Trump's connections to the industry. Traders earned $100 million by purchasing Melania Trump's meme coin before its release. Axios has reported that Democrats are focusing on the Trump family's cryptocurrency ventures. Just 2 days prior, it was announced that Democrats are urging an investigation into a Trump family cryptocurrency deal, suspecting potential foreign influence. The Trump administration has requested a court to dismiss a lawsuit that limits access to an abortion medication. An analysis has revealed that the term Biden was one of the most commonly used words in the Trump White House. In the United States, the Supreme Court has allowed Trump's ban on transgender military personnel to remain in effect while the legal case proceeds. Donald Trump's criticism of green energy might negatively impact the United States in the artificial intelligence competition, according to warnings from data center experts. NBC plans to utilize AI technology to recreate the voice of the renowned NBA narrator Jim Fagan for the upcoming season. In the United Kingdom, the Solicitors Regulation Authority has given its approval to Garfield, an AI-driven law firm that charges a fee of £2. Researchers have discovered subtle indications that ancient Mars experienced rainy days as well. The UK government has acknowledged that there is nearly no evidence to suggest that nature protections hinder development. The earliest known remains of a domestic cat in America have been discovered in a 466-year-old Spanish shipwreck located near Florida. Tether has ventured into the artificial intelligence sector with the launch of Tether.ai. New Hampshire has become the first state in the United States to enact a bill establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Furthermore, under Trump's administration, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, has ceased enforcing the rule concerning buy now, pay later arrangements, marking another step in the reduction of consumer protection measures. Samsung Wallet introduces a new tap-to-transfer feature that is compatible with both digital and physical cards. Google reveals AI Max for search campaigns, promising a 14% increase in conversions or conversion value while maintaining a comparable cost per acquisition. Tuvalu celebrates a significant milestone with the introduction of its first automated teller machines. Reuters has announced that Shein and Temu are increasing their advertising efforts in the UK and France following the impact of US tariffs. Both companies have experienced a decline in US sales in the week immediately after the tariff price increases were implemented. TikTok, which is currently facing the possibility of a ban in the United States, has reassured advertisers by expressing confidence and stating that they remain present. In another development, the U.S. government is advocating for the division of Google's advertising businesses. Furthermore, NVIDIA's CEO has expressed that being excluded from the Chinese AI market would result in a tremendous loss, while AMD has cautioned of a potential $1.5 billion reduction in sales in China, despite having a more optimistic outlook for 2025. Baidu has filed a patent application that outlines its intentions to develop technology capable of converting animal sounds into human language. Amazon has announced a significant advancement in robotics, introducing a device equipped with the ability to sense touch. IBM's CEO has stated that artificial intelligence has led to the displacement of hundreds of employees, although it has also generated new opportunities in programming and sales roles. The FDA has selected a critic of COVID booster shots to become the new head of its vaccines division. The Washington Post has announced that, following Trump's recommendation, the USPS board plans to appoint a FedEx executive as the new Postmaster General. The Trump administration has declared that it will prevent Harvard from obtaining any future grants. A scathing report has concluded that the FBI mishandled the investigation into the 2017 congressional baseball shooting, minimizing the gunman's anti-Republican motivations. In a significant development in the United States, the DEA has executed the largest fentanyl seizure in its history, capturing over 400 kilograms in an unprecedented operation. A declassified memo reveals that U.S. spy agencies do not believe Venezuela is orchestrating gang activities. NSO Group is required to compensate WhatsApp with over $167 million due to a spyware operation. A significant number of leading e-commerce platforms are currently being targeted as a result of a vulnerability in the Magento supply chain. Credit Suisse has agreed to pay $511 million as part of a settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice regarding a tax-related issue.